Okay, so I'm trying to do my best to meet all the requests. I don't think I can get through the entire numerical response, but I am going to respond. I am going to go ahead and show you how to solve question number 2 and 3 from the 2015 PAT. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you all. Okay, so this one is a little tricky because it's building back on linear equations, but let me read it out loud. Aaron buys a cheeseburger for $6.50 and a container of milk for 80 cents. Sam buys a tossed salad and a bowl of soup. The soup costs $2 more than the salad. So I'm actually going to highlight that word here, the more. And of course, we've got our money amounts there that I'm going to keep track of. Sam's meal is less expensive than Aaron's. So that's important because that means whatever Sam pays, it's going to be less. So anytime I hear the word less for something like this, and they haven't told me it actually is a definite amount, your brain should go straight to inequalities. The other hint about going straight to inequalities is we've got our number lines. So before I tackle the question, I do want to make it super clear as to what's going on with those number lines. So anytime we see an open circle, that means we're looking for an inequality that's going to look like this or like this. It's not going to be one of these ones, because that would be like a closed sign indicating the amount could equal that number or greater than or less. Okay, so with the question here, what we've got is we need to figure out a couple of things. So we need to figure out the price of probably the salad. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading the question. We definitely need to figure out the price of the salad. It's telling me that right there. So what I'm going to do is let X equal the salad. So X will just be our salad. And then we know that the soup costs $2 more. Okay, so anytime I hear the word more, my mind goes right to addition. So $2 more. So I'm going to write the soup. And that's going to be 2 more. So 2 more isn't 2 times, it's an addition of 2 more. So that means the soup is equal to 2 plus X. It's $2 more. Okay. That whole meal is going to be the total amount. So the 6.50 plus the 80 cents. And we know that that's going to be less than the rest of my equation here. Sorry, I'm actually just going to move this down here. So that's going to equal the rest of my equation, which is going to be X plus 2. And you know what? Let me rewrite that to make it more clear. So that's going to be the cost of the soup, which is going to be 2 plus X, and then X, which is the salad. So I'm just basically putting all the variables that I came up with and putting it on the right hand of the equation. And then on the left side of the equation, that just has my cost. So now I can start to combine like terms and solve the same way I would for any inequality or algebraic expression. So if I'm combining this, I have 2 X's and an X. Okay, so that's going to equal 2 plus 2X. And then I can go ahead and combine those numbers there. So I'm just going to go ahead and add it up. And unlike yesterday's exam, you all get to use a calculator. So that's going to be 7.30 is greater than the remainder of our variables. Now we just got to go ahead and solve for X. So to do that, we're going to move all our X's to one side and all our numbers to one side. So it looks like I just have to get rid of this 2 here. So I'm going to add -2 to both sides. That side's going to cancel out, leaving me with $5.30 is greater than 2X. We again just need to figure out that salad. So we're going to divide both sides by 2 because X is being multiplied by 2. And that's going to give me $2.65 is greater than X. Okay. Now, the trickier part though is we got to figure out which number line represents this. So I'm going to show you a trick. And I really hope that this doesn't confuse everyone just because we're so close to that exam. But if we write X on the left-hand side, so X like this, which means I then need to flip my inequality sign. So I'm not dividing by a negative number. I'm just rewriting it So X is on the left side. And so that means the inequality has to be flipped, right? Regardless, it needs to read that X is less than $2.65 or $2.65 is greater than X. Now what's cool about this, I'm actually just gonna write it up here. Sorry that this is getting messy. Now that I write it with X on the left-hand side, this inequality can actually show me the direction of my number line, providing X is on that left side. So what I mean by that is if I were to draw a line right here, that tells me which way my inequality arrow is going to go. So that means my answer will have to be one of these two. It's got to be either A or D. And I'm looking at A. A is $2.15. That's not what we got for X, so that's not going to work. So that leaves me with just option D, like that. And so if that trick with the inequality isn't going to work for you, the other way we can also read it is X has to be less than $2.65. Well, if we keep looking through at all of these numbers here, those are all less than $2.65. Okay, and then again, we need an open circle because our inequality was not equal to a number. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one, question number 3. So a question like this looks a lot more daunting than it actually is. So couple of things we got to notice. They gave us the letters P and Q, and all we know is they represent perfect squares that are consecutive. So consecutive means they're numbers that follow one another. So for example, 1, 2 are consecutive numbers, 3, 4 are consecutive numbers. The only thing is we need to look at their perfect square. So I'm going to choose 2 and 3. And when they become perfect squares, we're going to get 4 and 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let P equal 4 and 9 is going to equal Q, or Q equals 9, however you want to say it. And now we just have to evaluate those into the expression. So we're going to go ahead and put 4 plus 9 over 2. Now the whole thing is square rooted, but let's do that at the very well, not the very end, but let's do that towards the end. So 4 plus 9, well, that's going to get me 13, and that's going to be 13 over 2. So altogether, that's going to be 13 over 2. Now, kind of what I've been saying in our previous videos, like that division line or that fraction line is just another way of saying division. So if I have 13 things and I put them into 2 groups, the closest I can get is going to be 6 with 1 remainder. That remainder is going to be split, making it 6.5. Now we have to take the square root of 6.5. You can just plug that in your calculator because this is part B, not part A. And that's going to give us about 2.5. It carries over a little bit, but it's roughly about 2.5. So now we have to go ahead and pop it back onto the number line. So what I'm going to do is just ignore those options there. But what I am going to say is that on this number line, we know P and Q are at the ends. Meaning if I make P 4 here, Q has to be 9 here. Now, when I take the square root of those numbers, that's going to give me 2 on this side and 3 on this side. Perfect. Those are consecutive numbers. So now we have to decide, where does our 2.5 fall? Well, our 2.5 is going to fall right in the middle of 2 and 3. So that means our 2.5 is going to be right there. So our answer is going to be the option where the point that represents this is right in the middle. That option is going to be C. All right, I hope that helps. I'm going to do my best to see if I can make any more of these for you all. Good luck studying, everybody.